Hi, my name is Heather Jonita Ballou, and this is Shame for AHAYAH's Glory. This will probably be part one because I don't know how long I can make a video before it cuts off. Um, and as I'm sure the as the rest of you who have already done this, um, this was very new to you. It's very new to me, and I have no idea what I'm doing, but all that matters is that I am, of course, admitting my shame, very much of it, for the glory of AHAYAH, um, which is all that matters, is the glory of AHAYAH. Um, I feel that I possibly, and this is in no way, shape, or form to uh, give me any more credence or importance in any way, shape, or form of anyone else, but I have more to be ashamed of than many because I knew this truth at a young age. I knew this truth at a very young age, at 8 years old. I was blessed to have a mother who began reading the Word to me when I was 4. She was, well, she had her problems. She also had her own sense of morality that she had as a young girl that did not leave her totally. But she succumbed to the ways of this world. She succumbed to temptation also. And she was very promiscuous, incredibly promiscuous. Um, I can say she did try. She tried, had every intention of remaining a virgin until she was until she was married, and then she was violently raped by a trusted boyfriend at 16. And at that point, she just kind of gave up and just did whatever her flesh led her to do. And when I was about 4 years old, she came. She began going to a church that did teach at least, some form of truth, a great deal of truth actually. And she gave up, wearing makeup and doing anything that would bring attention to herself. She was very modest. Um, she quit wearing makeup and quit partaking in anything secular. No music. Just it was all about trying to be set apart and pleasing to God, which of course, they weren't giving them the whole truth. But I don't think that was the pastor's fault or the church's fault. I just think that they didn't understand the whole truth and was doing the best they could. But I'll try to make this short. She began reading the Word to me whenever I was 4. And as I wasn't allowed to watch TV, I wasn't really allowed to, to listen to music or anything. Of course, I listened to it when I was with my other family. And, I have to say, music was always my biggest enjoyment. I always dug all the old school music. But anyway, she began reading the Word to me at 4. And so at 5 years old, I decided to read it for myself. I was just like, hey, I want to do this on my own, and I began reading the Word, and and I prayed for discernment, and I read, and chapters I would reread, I would read and reread until I came to understanding, um, and and I did come to understanding. I prayed for it. I begged for it. By the time that I was 8 years old, I was asking the church, the elders, the Sunday school teachers, up, even up to the pastor, asking them, hey, according to what the word says, are black people in America, are they not the Israelites? I mean, they're the only people that I can see, that fit these prophetic prophecies. They're the only people that fit, the physical descriptions. If you don't buy into the whitewashed version of Egypt being, white somehow, I mean, come on, I joke around and say that I'm waiting on them to have an archaeological dig where they uncover, the ancient bottles of sunscreen for all the all these supposed white people that lived over there at this time. But the point is that I knew the truth. I knew the truth at a young age. The things that I know now, much of it I knew at a young age. But it's hard to be a child and stand up and say, see, this is where I looked at it the wrong way. Stand up and say, I know I have the truth and you are all wrong. But see, that's completely the wrong way to look at it. It wasn't me that had the truth. It was the word that was the truth. And what I was being taught was opposite of what was true. Like I said, in asking the Sunday school teachers and the pastors and all this about, hey, are black people here in America the true, lost tribes of Israel? They're the only ones that fit these prophecies, and they would tell me things. Well, they would say, well, some people believe they are, and and they would try to say, yeah, well, some tribes in Africa still are, but still promote the the fake Ashkenazi Jew, that they were in fact still Israel, Israel also, rather, just the ones they knew about. And the more and more that I read, the more and more that I knew that this wasn't true. And this wasn't the only thing. This is just the beginning of my understanding of the truth at a young age. And I'm not saying any of this to uplift myself, because what comes after shows how guilty I am. I quit going to church at 16 because none of the churches met on the Sabbath. I couldn't get around that. I could no longer excuse that. At the same time, though, I was starting to go my own way. And so in a real sense, I kind of used that as an excuse to not go to church. While what I said, what I believed, what I thought was completely the truth, at the same point in time, this is the time when I began to walk away from what I knew was true. And I began to live and walk in my own way, instead of following what the Most High had shown me and given me discernment of so long ago. And this is the greatest regret of my life, because I have wasted so much time, and there's no excuse for it. I knew better. I wasted so much time. I could have done so much more. I could have worked harder to spread this truth that I knew of this replacement theology, and how bogus it was, and how and done more to to fight this whitewashed history of who the true people, the apple of the Most High, who his true people are. And I'm not taking away, or at all trying to take away from the grafted in Gentiles. I know the differences of a lot of the camps. They refuse to recognize that. Sometimes you may see some of my posts, and it may seem to you that I am agreeing with their theology, but what it's hard for me to get other people to understand is that I'm giving them bits and pieces. I'm giving them bits and pieces of where I think that if I can get them to start digging a little bit into this and that, that they will come to their own understanding. And I believe that this video is about to run out. But this is by far, not the only things that I'm guilty of. But I can say that what I regret more than anything else in my life is turning away from what I knew was the truth at a very young age, and all that wasted time of walking in my own way, of letting all that just sit in the back of my mind. It never left me. The truth never left me. Um, it was always still there, and I always did know better. But I just put it to the side. And I did my partying. I wanted to call myself a hippie. I even entertained the idea that well, maybe because everyone is so deceived, maybe, all these religions, eventually will lead. Maybe they are worshiping the Most High in their own way. And this is the mindset that I adopted, to my detriment and to others also. How many more people could I have brought into the truth had I stuck with the truth that I knew, instead of trying to compromise what I knew to be the truth, to fit into what I wanted to believe at that time. But there's so much more. I'm going to pause this now because I think that I wasn't paying attention. I think I just got some type of little warning that said that this recording is almost done for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude this with part one. But before I do conclude this, please understand that my biggest regret, far beyond all the other horrible things that I've done in my life, is how much wasted time, because I knew better. There's no excuse for it. There's no excuse. I know I deserve nothing. I don't feel I deserve mercy. I don't feel that I deserve anything at all. I don't. Because I knew better. And I didn't follow through with what I was given at a young age. I was blessed to be given it at a young age, and I wasted it. And so this is just part one. I'll go ahead and upload this part now. But trust me, so much more I have to be sorry for. And this is my shame for AHAYAH's glory.